guys, welcome back. My name is Tolu.
And I'm Neche.
And we're ToluNaeche.
So today we want to talk to you guys just about college and what to expect before you get there. And we just want to talk about things that we wish we knew before we started college.
Exactly. So the very first thing is to go at your own pace. So when you get to college, a lot of things are happening at the same time, and it's kind of hard to stay true to yourself, but it's very important to stay in your own lane and know that this is your individual race, right? Don't be distracted by the other contestants in the race. Be aware of what they're doing and what they're succeeding at, but also keep in mind that your lane is only for you and you can only go at, a sustainable pace.
Yeah, and I think at Penn, one of the things I realized, I got here, I was pre-law, and a lot of people at Penn are in Wharton and super businessy. So I'll be walking to class in my sweats or whatever, and everyone else is walking in class in suits, and I'm like, wait, what is everyone am I supposed to be doing something that I don't know about, or why are you guys going to interviews? Whole time Wharton, all the business internships recruit early in the semester. Everything I was supposed to be focusing on doesn't even start until spring semester. So it's just I started getting overwhelmed, oh my god, I don't think I'm doing enough. Everyone's doing something, everyone's going to these interviews, and I'm doing nothing. The whole time my pre-law track just looked really different from what Tolu was doing, for example.
Exactly.
So you just have to know what your path looks like. Make sure for example, I'm super into legal stuff. I have other people in poli-sci who like to do politics stuff, so they're interning in DC and stuff, doing that stuff, but I'm should I be doing that? I don't really like that. So even within your major, people will be doing different things, so it's good to be aware of what interviews are and stuff like that for specific things, but don't be overwhelmed by what other people are doing.
Exactly. So the second thing I wish I was told before I got to Penn were, I wish I was more aware of the different wealth disparities, I guess, that I'd be coming in contact with. So when I went to high school in Baldwin, which is a public high school on Long Island, everyone in the high school was basically around the same tax bracket. And when I got to Penn, I realized that tax bracket was extended severely. There were, the very low income students and then the very high income students, and I wish someone told me this before I got to Penn so I'd be more aware of it, but it didn't turn out to be a bad thing in the end, because it's something else that I learned while at Penn. So it was evident in the different clothes that people would wear and the different styles that they would kind of live and the different travel experiences that they've had.
Yeah, so same thing, I went to a public high school in Southern California. We didn't really have super rich people. Everyone was the most prestigious thing, people's parents were doctors or something like that, and that was oh, they have money. So I got to Penn. And Penn literally has, I think 40% or so of the students here are in the top 1% bracket. So that gives you context. So almost half the people at the school are in the top 1% of wealth in the United States. And yeah, so when you go to school with people like that, I got here and I was I need a winter coat. And then I kept seeing everyone on campus with this specific winter coat with this thing. And I was okay, maybe I need one of those coats because that's what everyone's wearing. Get to my apartment, I'm totally what's that coat with the thing on it? I think I'm gonna get one because that's what everyone wears. And she's that's a Canada Goose. I Googled Canada Goose. Those coats are $1,000+
Yeah.
and I was okay. No. So and then we go to the parties and I would see these certain shoes. People would wear Gucci shoes to frat parties, and they get stepped on, muddy, they don't care. So that's just the type of people we're dealing with here. So I got here and I was okay, different types of people traveling to who knows where, places I've never even heard of before, right? So that was definitely a learning experience, but seeing the way people in these tax brackets function and how they go about life, I learned a lot, because this is a group of people I had never been exposed to this, and just seeing the way they go about school and travels and all these different types of things.
Yeah.
I actually learned a lot about different types of people, how people navigate different spaces, and then I was aware. It's better to know those types of things than to be ignorant about those types of people.
Exactly.
So yeah, we didn't know about how the rich live, and then we got to see what we got here.
Yeah.
Okay, and the third thing that we want to talk about, something I wish I knew before I got here, was that just because you can doesn't mean you should. So there's a lot of things like you probably have never done like in your high school life, and then you get to college, and for example, you'll see people doing hard drugs. You'll see people drinking alcohol. You'll see underage people drinking alcohol. You'll see people skipping class. You'll see people doing all types of things. And you're in college. There's nobody who's gonna tell you not to. Like, you're an adult at this point. Your parents aren't here. But just because you can do some of these things does not mean that you should. And don't feel peer pressured. Like, it sounds like a high school thing, but when you get here and all your cool college friends are doing something, like, that does not mean you should also join in. And like, thankfully, like, I live with Tolu, and we like kind of grew up the same, so I was not interested in any of that stuff. Tolu was never interested in any of that stuff, but I've seen so much on this campus, you know. So it's like, thankfully, like, the way my parents raised me, even though like even if they're not here, like, I'm not the type of person that's easily influenced by anything like that, just because like of how I was raised. But depending on how you grew up, you might get here and be like, well, maybe I'll just like but
and it's a different thing to want to experiment. Like, that's okay too. Just make sure that you're in a controlled environment and you're with people that you absolutely trust, which is another thing. I wouldn't recommend you experimenting during your freshman year, because you're still trying to like get your feet wet. You're still like experiencing different things, and to add I guess a different substance on top of that might like hurt your health or like hurt your studies or something, that you definitely don't want to risk it. So definitely 100%, just because you can does not mean that you should. Okay, so number 4 is health consciousness. So everyone knows of the freshman 15, right? When you get to college, typically freshmen gain about 15 pounds. Well, me personally, I was like kind of the same weight all throughout high school, and kind of wanted to switch it up in college and get thick. Oop. So then I'm like, okay, let me try to like purposely put on weight. But that was my case, and that was specific to me. But I think being health conscious and being aware of how much weight that you're putting on, what you're eating, and what things you should and shouldn't be eating for freshman year and throughout college is something that you should definitely be aware of.
Because you get to college and it's like, oh, y'all wanna go to the dining hall? You have like basically unlimited swipes when you're a freshman, like 500 swipes or something like that. You're not gonna eat that many times, okay? You're not. But when you have like all this food accessible to you, you just eat. And you don't realize it, but it gets to the point where you're eating more than you usually would at home, or like when you're hungry, but like people start to eat because they can. Then all of a sudden, you come home for Christmas, your parents are like, what you been eating at school? You looking a little round, you know? So just be conscious of like what you're eating. And yeah, I think that's self-explanatory.
Yeah. And then number 5 is mental health. Okay, so mental health is actually a very important, I guess, pillar in college life and in life in general. So I don't know, coming into college, I was never really aware of what mental health was, didn't really do that. I mean, coming from a Nigerian family, mental health isn't really a thing. But coming to Penn, and I was exposed to all of these different people that, you know, personally suffered with anxiety, depression, etc. They really helped me understand the purpose of mental health and like what that can do to a person if it's either improved or drastically reduced.
Yeah. And yeah, so like depending on your background, like maybe like your parents didn't believe in that type of stuff. Like I know that's how it was like in my house kind of. And it's like, oh, like I don't feel like going to school, like I don't feel like doing this and that. Your parents like, just get up and go to school, like, you know. But then you get to college and you're on your own, and you know, like you might be going through the motions, but then at one point you start to feel like different, like you don't really have like you don't really want to like get up in the morning, you know, like you have like, it's like a task to even like to respond to people, just like the little things. That's like, it's a serious thing that might happen in college, and it happens to a lot of college students. There's definitely resources on campus for things like that. But just knowing, like, to be aware of how you're feeling at all times, and like wanting to like being okay with reaching out for help, because there's so many people like that would not, like something might change, it's just like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore, and you don't know why, because like that was never a discussion that was like had in like your household or something like that. So just know that like college could be rough, and like you might start like, I don't know, things might happen, but just be aware of it, and just like know it's okay to like talk to people to be able to handle that.
And it's definitely okay to like reassess and like take a step back and understand where you are in like life and where you are and how you're feeling truly, so that you can definitely, you know, reach out and get and contact the resources that you need in order to get the help that you need.
Some people take like gap years because like school's a lot, and I think like mental health like comes before everything, because like if you're not right up here, like everything else, like it's just not feasible. Like you just can't keep like going through like class and like seeing your friends and all that, like if you're not feeling right up here. So mental health, take care of yourself.
Yes. So that brings us to number 6, which is that it's okay to ask for help. So whether that be office hours or finding a mentor or finding that community/family on campus that you can like vent to, it's 1000% okay to ask for help. So like I know in high school I didn't really go to office hours. I'm like, what's the point? But in college, definitely freshman year, I was in those office hours every week, like so much to a point that I physically write them in my planner so that I would go. And that was only so that I would be more proactive with my studies, making sure that even if I didn't actually have a question, I could sometimes sit in office hours and just absorb the information that's going, being talked about in them. And it definitely did help my conceptual understanding of the classes and the concepts and all that information. And then in terms of mentorship, I joined Black Wharton, which is like a pre-professional group through the Wharton School for Black students or students of color. And through that, we had like a mentor-mentee program, and my mentor was a Wharton senior. And I developed like a pretty close relationship with him during my freshman year, and was able to, truly understand my career goals and like what Penn would look like in a couple years, and kind of see the long-term picture. So mentorship, the mentorship that I had freshman year was definitely important to my Penn career, because it allowed me to kind of understand like what my role was at Penn, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people, like in high school, like I wasn't the type to ask for help, because I'm like, I'm smart, like I don't need help, like no matter what, like I just have to keep studying, I got it, like so like whether that was like personal, like I'm feeling down, like mom, like I need help with this, like no, like it's just not something I did. Then I got to college, and college is hard, and whether it's like in like oh, I'm not feeling well, like things like that, or like whether it's like pre-professional stuff, or just like like having a mentor. So like there's actually like thankfully like my mentor, like she reached out to me, like just like a girl like saw me, like a young like Black student, she's like, I want to help you like with anything you need, like personal or like professional, like whatever, like I'm here for you. So like when it came to like job stuff, I'm like, hey, can you look at my resume? She helped me with my resume. Hey, like can you talk like what are the different types of jobs? She'd help me with stuff like that. And it's okay to ask for help, because like without talking to that girl, like I probably wouldn't have had internships, like so many like classes I might not have taken, so asking for help is definitely a good thing. And professors too, like office hours are the way to go, because for example, when like if you're applying to grad school, for example, for law school, I need letters of recommendation from professors, and those need to be professors like I have a relationship with. Was I very good at that? No. But am I gonna suffer the consequences? Yes, because I never like really went to office hours, which like now I regret so deeply. So definitely like start off your year like you do not need to have a question to go to office hours. Literally go to office hours like, hey professor, can you just like, I think I got the concept, like I think this is what you were talking about, but can you clarify that, and can you like talk more about that? They'll be so happy to like discuss it with you. And then they're like, this girl's paying attention, I know her name now. And like if you go multiple times, bro, if you have like a B plus, they're gonna be like, that girl always comes to office hours, A minus, like small things like that. So definitely utilize things like that.
Yep.
Okay, and now we are at number 7. So, seventh thing I wish I knew before I got to college was like how important self-discipline would be when I got here. So in high school, I think I was pretty self-disciplined, but that's because I had like teachers. Like if you don't come to class one day, teachers asking where you're at, the office is calling your parents. Like if I'm at home when my parents are at home, like I don't really have a choice but to go to school and get my work done. My parents are looking at my grades when I get home. Very different situation in college. So you get to college, you're on your own. Literally, you're on your own. Like if Tolu's like sleep in bed, and I'm like, hey, I'm headed to class, like you coming? She's like, no, I'm going to sleep. What am I gonna do? Be like, Tolu, come on. Like, no. I'm like, okay, I'll see you later. Like you literally have free will here. As crazy as it sounds, too much free will. Like you literally can skip class, you can do whatever you want, you could like literally go wherever you want whenever. Like it comes down to self-discipline. If you need to go to the library, you need to get out of bed and go to the library.
Yes.
You need to go to the gym because like you're looking at your health. You need to get up and go to the gym. And like there's no like authoritative figure above you that's gonna like be yelling at you to do these types of things. And it's gonna go a long way.
Yes.
Self-discipline.
Yes, and the different things that you can do to help, I guess, with your self-discipline is making sure that your schedule is catered specifically to you. So don't try to move your classes around to be with your friends if that's not going to work for you. If there's like a 3-hour gap and you know that you're not going to get to that second class after the 3-hour gap, don't do that to yourself. The one thing that helped me freshman year to, I guess improve on my self-discipline was having routines. So I would wake up for cheer practice at 7 a.m. And then after that, I'd go to class, and then after that, I'd either do some cardio or reading or work or whatever I had to do. And when I had those daily schedules, I was able to hold myself accountable.
Scheduling is really important. So like she said, making a schedule that's like specific to you and following that. Like at one point, like I think it takes like 20 something days or like 30 days to form a new habit or something like that. And once like it's your habit, it's like I have to go to the gym every like Tuesday. Like I'm going at this specific time. You have your gym clothes with you every single Tuesday. You will be doing that, and you don't need someone to tell you. Like it's on your calendar. You know what you have to do, and that goes a long way. So self-discipline. Okay, and now we're at number 8. This is something I really, really wish someone would have told me before I got to college, which nobody told me, was about relationships. So the way I grew up in my household, I was never allowed to talk to boys. I was never allowed to date, any of that. And I would always be like, when I get older, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna find a boyfriend, and then that's gonna be my husband, and I'm gonna live happily ever after. And I'm so sorry, but yeah, right. Don't get me wrong, it's in the cards for some people, but it's not in the cards for all of us. If it's not in the cards for you, don't worry about it. Like, I used to be like, oh my god, nobody wants me, and I must be so ugly, and no, because I'm not ugly, number one.
Exactly.
Number two, I have no time. I literally figured out that I literally have no time for any of that in college. Some people do. Some people find the love of their lives here, and they get married later on, That's just not my fairy tale. That's just not how it's happening for me. And at first you're like, oh my god, something's wrong with me. But after literally a semester, you're like, okay, whatever. Because literally I'm thinking about every single semester I've had at Penn so far and how distracted I've already been with just social things and just stress, and I cannot imagine a significant other or something bothering me for one day and then I'm in the library trying to study and I'm worrying about that. It's just not in the cards for everyone, and it's literally okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes, I completely agree. Same thing as Neche. I grew up, my parents were like, no, you can't have a boyfriend in high school, maybe college, even though my brother was fine, but we're not going to talk about that. So I got to Penn, and I was like, yeah, I'll find my boyfriend in college, it'll be great, and then maybe we'll be college sweethearts or whatever. No, that did not happen, and it's probably not going to happen. But like Neche said, it's okay. It's not a deflection on yourself, and don't start thinking what's wrong with me, because there's nothing wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. There's just something wrong with the men that are here, boys that are here. And it's okay to accept that you don't want to voluntarily be in a relationship, because then you've acknowledged that 1, you don't have time for it per se, 2, that's not really your main focus, and 3, it shouldn't be your main focus, right? You're only here to get your degree, and nowhere in that does it say that you have to have a relationship, or you should have a relationship, or that a relationship is gonna help you in any sort of way. So don't think that even if you really want one, and don't try to force it, and just try to make great connections amongst the people that you know.
And it might happen. That's not saying oh, just don't date when you get to college. If it's for you, if you really, really want that, and you find the perfect person, dude, date. It's perfect. Go ahead. There's just so many things that I now know that I require in a different person that I'm just not finding around here. Not to say other people don't have standards, but there's literally a list of things I'm they have to do this, and that. And if they're not like that, then I'm not wasting my time. And it's okay to be like that. Some people might call it high maintenance, but I'm not just gonna date for the sake of it, just to date,
exactly.
So yeah, and people all come to college for different reasons. And yeah, maybe some people just don't want to date. Some people want to date, and that's literally whatever you are. It's okay. Just don't think everyone's gonna come here and live a fairy tale life.
Yeah, and having a flashback, I guess, from high school to college, like I definitely grew, I guess, in terms of like that relationship based stuff, and like learned a lot. And you know, it's okay to recognize, or let me rephrase, you should recognize, I guess, the departure from like your past self. Like I can't speak to everyone, obviously, because some people's high schools were wild and they did some crazy things and wanted to tone down in college. That's not really me. It's kind of like the opposite. But I mean, I'm going into my senior year, still have never had a relationship, probably will graduate never having a relationship, and that's okay.
It's okay. And yeah, like, I mean, I talk to boys now, like, I know how to do that. I didn't know how to do that in high school.
True.
So we've literally come a long way. But don't want to date, also no.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just know, relationships, like, don't expect too much from the relationship world. But that's just speaking from our experience.
Yes. 9, which is to take advantage of the city or location that you are in when you're in college.
Yes.
So coming from New York, I mean, I lived on Long Island, so I didn't really have access to like the city life and all those things. And you know, Long Island is pretty much just suburbia. So coming to Penn and being in Philadelphia allowed me to truly like see what it felt like to live in the city and kind of do city-like things. And I wish someone did tell me to take more advantage of it, because I would have gotten to do things that, you know, I probably haven't done starting from my freshman year as opposed to starting now or starting like sophomore year, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Southern California, like I live an hour from LA, so I definitely like, you know, had experience like the city and stuff, but like living in Philadelphia where we can like literally like walk like 15 minutes and we're in the middle of the city and it's like bustling, there's people, definitely different. So Philadelphia has a lot of history as well, and like the freaking Declaration of Independence was written here, and like I still have never seen it. Like not the original. The original is actually in DC, which I learned when I got there. But they have like, you know, where it was written and stuff. Like those are like historical places that can be visited in Philly. Things I need to take advantage of, because now we're seniors and we're starting like our senior year bucket list of everything we need to do before we graduate, because we might never be in Philadelphia again. Like, come on, bro, you had 4 years. We had 4 years to get all of this done, and we literally are like, oh my god, now we're seniors, we haven't done like anything. So Philly's actually like a really great place to go to school.
Yeah.
I have friends who go to school in the middle of nowhere, and this might be different.
Yeah.
But also like if you go to school in the middle of like nowhere, like take advantage of like the solitude and like really like experience the people that you have around there, because 4 years will be gone, and then like you never even saw the city that you go to school in. But like yeah, and then even if you stay in your hometown, I mean, you're familiar with it, do different things. Not everyone at your college has done things in your hometown, so you can then be that resource for like other students, like, oh my god, I have a favorite spot, and then you're the plug. So no matter where you go to school, like take advantage of the city, whether it's for your own benefit or like helping other people.
And also make sure to like also experience new things in the city. So like don't just go out to different places to eat, don't just go to like all the touristy spots, like see what it truly feels like to like live as a local and not as like a Penn student or a college student. So like for example, Philadelphia, a lot of people kind of just are ignorant to like West Philadelphia and their problems, but I know during like my freshman year walked up to like 52nd Street, and it's like essentially like the whole street or a couple blocks are like markets and like different like incense shops and like shea butters and things like that, and I was truly able to like I don't know, just feel or be more immersed in like Philadelphia culture, which is something that you cannot put money on, something that you cannot trade for, and it definitely allowed me to love Philadelphia even more than I would have if I didn't have that experience. So last thing, number 10, is to treat yourself.
Treat yourself.
So it is always okay to treat yourself. Now, don't be excessive with it, but be within reason. Say that you got a good score on a test. Treat yourself to like, some ice cream, some gelato,
some new
clothes. Give yourself a budget first. So what I did freshman year was every semester I kind of gave myself a gift. So like I think, one semester I bought myself a pair of Lululemon leggings. For people who are not aware of what Lululemon is, they're just really overpriced, but also very durable leggings. And they like retail for like $90. And I've never spent $90 on a pair of leggings ever. My leggings probably cost like $20, if that. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna splurge, and bought myself some Lulu leggings. And like it really, you know, allowed or made me happy because I finished my spring semester freshman year, and I was like, yeah, like I'm gonna get myself a gift. And it's just to like, you know, keep that mental health going and knowing that like you're on the right track and that, you know, you can still do this.
And then like even like those nights where you study really hard, you get a pretty good grade on the test you studied for, get some ice cream with some friends. Like it's okay to like take a break from studying after you've been in the library for a good amount of time, to like hang out with your friends, like order pizza, do a movie night, go to that party downtown. Like it's okay to celebrate throughout the college experience. Like yes, stay focused, get those good grades because that really matters, but literally know when you're going to like also enjoy yourself, and that is literally okay. I do it with clothes a lot. Clothes and food. I'm like, treat yourself. I get like one good score and I'm treating myself in the next month. So know how much to treat yourself, but definitely treat yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, like just to wrap it up, like 4 years of college goes by so fast. ToluNaeche, we literally recorded that first video freshman year. We are now, this is senior year.
Yeah.
Senior year. I don't, like, we literally, I feel like we just started making these little videos and now we're seniors. So like if you watched the videos, you've literally watched our 4 years of college. Like, and that's literally insane to me because I feel like I just got here and now everything's like done. Like it's like, okay, your last 2 semesters, your last this, last that. And I'm like, this is gonna be my last fall break, last Christmas break, last spring break with my friends, and we really don't know what's gonna happen after this. So literally take advantage of your college experience because it'll go by like that.
Exactly. It goes by really fast. And yeah, just take advantage of the things that you're doing now. Take advantage of what year you are now. The freshmen, don't try to like be an upperclassman. Sophomores, don't try to be an upperclassman. Juniors, don't wish to be a senior because once you're here, you're like, damn, I'm about to graduate and go into the real world. So like, take things slow and definitely appreciate the time that you have now because it will fly. And then you'll be in our shoes, and then we're gonna graduate, and then marriage, and then kids, and then mortgage, and then spiral. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely, especially freshmen. Before I got to college, I never knew how like literally like sweet, carefree like freshman year would be. Like I'm not saying to lag or anything, but freshman year is the only year that's like you can like get away with doing a few things. It's like they're freshmen. You don't know where your classes are. They're freshmen. You don't know what this is. You don't know what that is. They're freshmen. You know, you're wilding out at the party. We're like freshmen, you know. That's literally the only year where you're safe. Sophomores too, maybe, but mostly freshmen. So it's okay to go into the middle of the dance circle and bust a move. Like that's the one year we'll be like, go freshman. But like once you hit senior year, if I try to get in the middle and I don't know what I'm doing,
I don't know her.
Everyone's gonna be like, that's that girl that shit. Like, and everyone knows you already. Freshman year, you're still making a name for yourself. You could get away with a lot of things. So literally enjoy that because before you know it, you're gonna be a senior. That's the end of the road. But yeah, so I think that's like the 10 things we wish we would have known before we got to college. I hope that's helpful. And
yeah, as always, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family. We get so much feedback from you guys on campus and like through social media as well, like letting us know that we're doing the right things and like making the right videos and saying all the right things, and it truly warms our hearts. So keep it going because we do this stuff for you guys, and we really appreciate the genuineness and like truth that, you know, we have between us.
And I have a lot of free time this year.
She's only taking 3 classes.
Because I finished my major. My major is done. Poli-sci, killed it. Finished. So I have a relatively simple schedule senior year, unlike some of us. So I have a lot of free time. If you guys want like videos, I can talk about like how I got my internship. Tilly can talk about how she got her internship. We can do one of those. Let us know what else you guys want to see. Like we literally love your suggestions, so definitely keep giving us those because we have like a list that we're working through. And yeah. So as always, signing off as ToluNaeche.